Hey, Dolphins fans, welcome to On the FinSide. We are finally here for the NFL draft. I'm excited. It looks like Miami made pushes to try to get Burrow earlier today. Didn't happen. Fine with that, as much as I love the guy. Make sure you let us know in the chat. This is going to be kind of just a casual hangout, talking a little bit about the picks. As it stands right now, we've still just got the 3 in round 1. Be keeping an eye out, letting you guys know what's going on as it goes. Just wanted to interact with you guys, hang out with y'all, hang out with my Fins family. There were plenty of virtual draft parties I could have jumped on, but I figured, you know what? Let me jump on and chat with you guys. We really had fun with our live stream the other night. We're actually going to be doing another live stream after the round 1 concludes tonight, talking about some of the best available players for day 2, for round 2, round 3, some of our favorite targets to look at. A lot to do here. B. Marshall, man, if you believe all the rumors, we are doing everything and taking everybody. I think Miami has talked a little bit with Detroit. I don't know if we are. It sounds like Jacksonville has gotten in the mix here a little bit. We'll see. I mean, are you in the camp of trading up for Tua, for an offensive tackle, for Isaiah Simmons? What are you looking to see with this? I'd love to hear it. I want to interact with you guys all night, man. That's what I want to do here. I hear you, but the awesome thing about this, and B. Marshall, I know I'm just gonna call you B. Marsh here. I'm excited and nervous too, but Miami has accumulated so much here, and it's absolutely awesome. They've accumulated so much that they can actually afford to whiff on a few picks, which is amazing. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we do a little trading up, do a little trading down, accumulate a bit more for next year, because any of the quarterbacks after Burrow, and I say this with the utmost respect for these guys, any of the quarterbacks after Burrow come with some question marks. You've got Justin Herbert and his accuracy and decision making issues, that we'll call it. You've got Jordan Love, who, while his supporting cast dropped off a little bit for his senior year, he dropped off a little bit too. You've got Tua, who has all the talent in the world, all the intangibles, but will his body hold up? And that's the big question. We won't know for a while. And we've got Ryan Fitzpatrick for this season. The other big question I've got here is, will Miami build the trenches? Is that taking one of these top 4 or 5 offensive tackles and maybe pairing him with an Ezra Cleveland as we move on here into the late first, early second? Is that making a move for Trent Williams, who nobody's biting on a second round pick for the guy, so he might be available for a 3rd or 4th rounder? I mean, we've got to see them rebuild the running game. In my head, because of the fact that Fitzpatrick's there, because of the fact that while we still don't know fully what Rosen's going to turn into, Rosen is still there. And what can he be with an offensive line in front of him? The biggest failure for me would be to come out of this draft without a left tackle as we move forward here. And man, Roger Goodell has a beautiful basement. The other thing that I think is kind of cool with the way we're doing this tonight, just so you guys know that are watching, we'll talk about this a little bit. I've got the sound off for the draft in the background, just so I can interact with you guys while keeping an eye on this. There are going to be a couple of points during the night where I'm going to be on a Zoom call in the background with the Dolphins, with Chris Greer and a couple of other folks. So as he answers questions on that, I'll try to convey that as fast as humanly possible, as well as some of the new draft picks as well, which is kind of cool. So some of the stuff you see guys like Al Habib and Travis and all them tweeting out, well, before Travis joined the Fins, that all stems from those press conferences. So I'll be able to pass that along to you guys in real time, whatever I can. Yeah, so what are y'all's thoughts, man? I'm ready for this. It's so nice to have sports in any form or fashion after the last couple of months. I hope all of you watching are staying safe at home. And really, 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 I appreciate all of our new listeners, all of our new followers we've got this offseason. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart here. I want to hear from you, though. Let me know in the chat, what are you excited for with tonight's draft? I mean, do you think we're getting our quarterback tonight? Do you think Miami's going to wait? There's been rumors that they may wait for Jalen Hurts or Anthony Gordon, or may not take a quarterback at all of the 14 picks they've got. What are you guys excited for? B-Marsh, I want to hear what you think Miami's going to do tonight. I know we both know it's probably not Burrow. Mike Brown sent jerseys to Burrow's entire family apparently yesterday and said, welcome to Cincinnati. We're going to love you forever. We're going to hug and kiss you. And, yeah. What are you guys thinking? What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to see tonight? I'm all ears and loving getting to talk to you. Oh, they're showing, yep. God. Ready for this, man. I don't know about you guys. I am so freaking ready for the draft. Josh, that is 100% correct, Josh. It's amazing how well the team has kept this close to the vest. I mean, we see it even from Belichick's organization, which is notoriously tight-lipped. We see the leaks come out. We're not seeing the leaks come out, or we're seeing ridiculous amounts of leaks where everybody's got inside information and everybody's saying something different, which I can't say enough good. Yeah, I am with you on that, Josh, especially the tackle part of it. I mean, I talked a little bit at the top of the stream. I mean, any of our listeners know Cat is 1,000% in on drafting Tua. I'm 1,000% in on the talent of Tua. I'm just hoping his body can hold up. Fins up right back at you, Sharif. But yeah, like if Miami cannot come away with a top left tackle, this draft is a failure because you cannot protect a rookie. You cannot protect Fitzpatrick with what we had last season. We all saw it. There's no secret there. It sucked losing Tunsil, and we do have to replace him. And it's very much a scenario where, yes, you have to replace him with one of the 3 picks that you got for him. But don't forget, that Texans pick next year is looking better all the time. Every time Bill O'Brien picks up a phone, he's losing players or draft picks at this point, which is awesome. Like, the more the merrier on that. And who knows? Miami may be able to do some of the things they want to do here and accumulate a little bit next year so they can go after Fields, go after Sunshine if they're not able to get their guy today. So yeah, like what else do you guys? We do need a right tackle, but we need a pair of tackles, guys. It's very much a scenario that Miami does not have a tackle on either side. We need a pair of bookend tackles in this draft. It's amazing that Jesse Davis is the best tackle on the roster right now. That's just not a good situation. But yes, we would need a right tackle if it's Tua, but we still need that left tackle as well. Which is crazy to say. Like, it doesn't matter which tackle. We need both of them anyway. So that's why what we were talking about probably before you joined. Oh, let's get straight to this. It's 14 picks. I would be fine with that, Michael. I mean, who knows? Give Rosen an offensive line, he might be something. I mean, his decision-making is a little slow. That's the biggest problem we've had with Rosen. And given the fact that we've had that problem with Rosen, you give him a pair of solid tackles and you get one of those top centers or one of the few guards that's available. The guard class, we classified it a little bit on the show a few weeks ago or a week ago. The guard class is notoriously weak. There's a couple of guys at the top. But the cool thing is, if you draft a center, I know we signed Ted Karras for a 1-year contract. Ted Karras can flex the guard. And so if you were to get a Lloyd Cushenberry or a Cesar Ruiz, you're still starting Ted Karras on the line, and you can still get your bookend tackles around it. So suddenly that offensive line can be very fixed. I agree, I agree, Burgess. I mean, we'll see. We are minutes away from getting to find this out too, which I think is amazing. I mean, I've been doing mock drafts since October, as most of our listeners know. Um, yeah. So, Burgess, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which tackles would you go after? Actually, any of you watching, which tackles would you want to go after in this draft? Because there are basically four at the top, which we've talked extensively about. And then there's a couple, arguably first rounders. And then it gets real spotty after round one. And that's for both sides of the offensive line. So I'm curious to see what our listeners would be into for that. And then, I'm also curious to see if anybody out there is in the camp that we should forego either of those two and go after Simmons. It should be Wills and Thomas. I love Wills and Thomas, but I don't think we're going to get both of them. There are a lot of teams, especially right around pick 10, where we've got Cleveland and then the Jets rolling right along. They're both probably leaning in that offensive tackle market. The Giants are very likely to go offensive tackle unless they go Isaiah Simmons. And then Arizona is in dire need of an offensive tackle. So seeing two of the top four would be a difficult situation. Maybe if Miami moves up, but they're going to have to move up probably back up into the top 11 to get one if they go Tua early, or if they go Herbert early, or if they completely off script and go Love. So for me, the way that I rank the offensive tackles as it stands today is I've got Becton as my number one, mainly because of his upside and what I've seen from him. Number two, I've got Wirfs. If you've got Becton and oh God, the two of them could be dominant. And then I'd probably go Andrew Thomas, who I'm not sold is going to stay at tackle. I'm still not. I still think he could be somebody that gets kicked in the guard, depending on which team he ends up with. And then Wills would be four. I'm not a fan of Austin Jackson, not a bit. I'd be okay with Jones with that 26 pick. And if you go too early, you may have to go Jones at 18. If he's still on the board, he may be the best available tackle left. After that, and again, I don't want Austin Jackson, but Ezra Cleveland, Lucas Niang, Matt Pert is a guy that if he gets a little bit stronger as you move along, might be able to help you out. Paul, dude, thank you for checking out the content. It's Kat and I. One of the biggest and best things for us with this is we don't do this for profit. We do this for fun and because we love the team. We're also very adamant that, yes, the Dolphins have done some stuff for us, which is awesome, but we keep ourselves from being beholden to anybody. So we can just be honest. We pride ourselves more on trying to be right than trying to be first. And Kat and I just really enjoy doing this and seeing the comments, seeing all of that. Clement, I could see Wirfs kicking into guard with the right team, but I think he's more likely to stay at tackle for Thomas. I could be wrong, but again, the last time I was very convinced a player was more of a guard than a tackle was Eric Flowers when he got drafted, and he washed out a tackle, but he really started to turn it up at guard last year, and I was very excited to see him end up in Miami this offseason because of the fact that he stepped up at guard. And really the way that this salary cap is supposed to expand and inflate over the next couple of years, that deal for $10 million a year is going to look good by the end of it. It's with the playoff expansion, with the week 17 expansion. What the hell is Goodell doing right now? Jeez. Trying to get, okay, interesting. Sorry, I've got the draft on in the background so I can hang out with you guys, still watch the draft. DeAndre Swift. I like DeAndre Swift, Josh. DeAndre Swift is one hell of a talented running back. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is probably my favorite running back at the top end of the class, but I am in a different camp than a lot of folks. I don't want. It is nerve wracking. I wish they just get to the damn pick already. It's I don't want a running back at the top end of the draft. I can totally understand the allure after the disaster we had last year, but I think that you can grab a Cam Akers and handcuff him with an AJ Dillon, and all of a sudden you've got a dynamic backfield, including Jordan Howard. If you build that line in front of them, they're going to look better than what you expect. Given if you were to get those two of those top tackles, one from Group A, one from Group B, and then pair that up there, it breaks my heart seeing Joe Burrow sitting there waiting for that phone call, knowing that he's going to Cincinnati. It breaks my heart. For those of our listeners that are watching right now that have been with us for a while, you guys will remember the end of last summer. I brought it up on the show a few times that Joe Burrow, everybody was in tank for Tua mode. I brought up that Joe Burrow was a guy that was going to be there in the fifth, that I would probably take a pass on Tua and rebuild the line to go after. I didn't expect it. No, anybody that tells you they expected this season out of Burrow is a goddamn liar. It's we got to face it there. This season was the most phenomenal thing that we have seen out of a player in college history. It defies physics. It's like somebody playing Madden, and in reality, it's amazing. He doesn't have the best arm strength, but he makes up for it with his anticipation, his accuracy, his playmaking ability, and his leadership. The guy does not like to lose. And God, Cincinnati's got 8 minutes left on the clock, and they are milking the hell out of this. I don't know what they could do anymore here. I know they have to wait, but if I'm Mike Brown, I'm already on video conference. But then again, one of the points I made out on Twitter here before tonight, we've got a bunch of old people trying to use technology for this draft without much assistance. So there's the opportunity for some funky, hinky things to happen. So if I am a team that's trying to get up to the top, now, if their time expires, don't forget, the next team can go ahead and make a pick. If I'm a team that tried to get up to the top, like the Dolphins, I'm keeping an eye on it and keeping the phone open to Washington. And basically ready to offer the farm the instant that clock flips over if the pick has not been made yet. Clyde is your favorite. Burgess, you doing okay over there? I see you're nerve wracking. No, it's. I hate the fact that the draft is here and now they're just taking their sweet time. I'm so ready for it. I don't know about you guys. Knowing that Cincinnati is going Burrow, knowing that Washington is going Chase Young, I'm ready to get to pick 3 where the real draft starts. It's Kat said it best the other day. The draft starts at 3. There's never been a more locked in top end of the draft for me, other than maybe Andrew Luck, but literally the first 2 picks. And I don't know what Joe Burrow was talking about with his hair earlier. He looks like he found a barber before this one. His mom's all styled up nice. Yeah. Burgess, I hope you're wrong, man. I hope you are wrong. Wrong. Because if we're sitting here till 10 p.m. Waiting for the draft, I realized, you know what? Thinking about it, now that I spoke out loud, I'm okay with it taking till 10 p.m. I want to savor every minute of it because this might be the last bit of sports for a while. Michael, I totally agree, but at the same time, the entertainment value, because like there was a bunch of posts going around today about the fact that Jerry Jones is going to be able to go rogue without people to keep him in check. And the thought I had too was Bill O'Brien's got to have a lot of people keeping him back as things wear on. And the fact that he doesn't have a pick tonight, I'm glad Miami's got their first round pick. But at the same time, who knows what Bill O'Brien's going to do in this draft for the Texans, given the fact that with people keeping him in check, he's done so many bat crazy things. It's which pick will be Derek Brown, DJ? Which pick? Ours? I'm curious now. That would be. I wouldn't love that. I would not love that at all. I like Derek Brown. I think he's a good player, but given Miami's needs to go defensive tackle early, with a need for two bookends and a probable need at quarterback, depending upon how the coaches and GM see it, I just think that would possibly be a catastrophic move for the Dolphins. I mean, and don't forget, Derek Brown could come off the board earlier. I don't think he does. I still think Detroit goes Akuda unless they trade out of that spot. But we got 4 minutes left until Washington's on the board, just so you guys know. If you're not, which I'm sure you guys are watching as well. But and I think the Giants go offensive tackle. If not, I think they go Isaiah Simmons. So, I mean, really, but it's very much a situation where it's not necessarily just about the talent. The talent's close enough, and the needs that are there keep them on that level playing field in that little bucket of talent as far as that goes, if that makes any kind of sense. So, what questions do you guys have for us? What type of coverage do you want to see from us for the draft? Right now, what Kat and I plan on doing is after round one is over tonight, we're going to sit down, probably have another Zoom conference call that we live stream talking about the best available players on day two. We're going to recap each of the three first round picks, or 4 or 2, depending on how the situation plays out. What else do you guys want to see from us? What do you want to hear from us for this draft? We've got you guys, whatever you guys want to do here. And are they making it official with the Joe Burrow pick? Because I don't think they've full-blown announced it yet, but they're running his promo package. So, yeah, disappointing. I really think Burrow could have been the face of this franchise for the next 15, 20 years. Dude, if Tua goes number one, actually, the only thing more entertaining than Tua going number one would be if they went Justin Herbert. That would be the most entertaining thing ever. I don't see it happening, though. But, God, that would be freaking awesome. DJ, it's they can. But if they're going to go with 2 offensive tackles as well, they're going to fall out of Group A, most likely on that, unless they come back up. And I want at least one out of Group A, which is that top 4. Mekhi Becton, Jedrick Wills, Tristan Wirfs. Excuse me. And blanket on the name at the moment, but I've talked about them a little bit already on this one. I'm so busy staring at the screen here, and I got my draft board over there. But, yeah. I have an 8-year-old boy upstairs. No, I do not wish we got Brady. Not in a million years. I do not like the fact that Brady's getting this much hype. Oh, the pick is in. Joe Burrow is officially off the board. Now, I'm actually more disappointed that we didn't get Gronk of the two. Now, hear me out. A 2 tight end set with Gronk and Gesicki would be so much fun. And having Gesicki would have kept Gronk healthy, I think, because you don't have to lean on him as heavily. But no, it's as far as Brady goes. I mean, most of our listeners here know. We talked about it before the Week 17 matchup. We said the way you beat the Pats last year was by forcing Brady to throw the ball. And that's not just on his wide receivers. That is on him He was missing wide open throws. I don't like the fact that Brady's a guy that refused to throw to specific players. He, felt a certain way about them. It's not a scenario I want. And I actually did a guest spot on a show last night, and one of the things that I brought up there was, and I think a lot of the Dolphins fans here will be behind this. How sweet would it be for the Dolphins not only to make the Super Bowl this year, right? Which, depending on how this draft goes, is a possibility. I think we need one more year, but it's a possibility, which I never thought I'd be saying after last season. Never in a million years thought I'd be saying. But if Miami were to go to the Super Bowl this year, the Super Bowl is in Tampa. And to face off against Brady and Gronk in a Super Bowl in Brady's brand new home stadium and win their first Super Bowl in way too many years. I think that would be the sweetest thing ever to slap Brady around in a Super Bowl. But again, it's have Kyle Van Noy get a walk-off sack against Brady in the Super Bowl in Tampa. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think? Oh, look at that! Is not. Wait a minute. All the NFL coaches right now are social distancing. Joe Burrow does not have a party going, and then they flip to Ed Orgeron, and he's sitting in the office with his entire staff. Ed, you can't do that right now, buddy. It's not acceptable. It's social distancing, man. Flip to Ed at home. The NFL right now shouldn't bother flipping to these guys if they're sitting there with their entire staff around, or if they're sitting there with a party around. Not a good idea. So Washington's up. I don't think there's any secret here. This is the Chase Young pick. Although if they go Tua here, that'd be shocking, but possible. You got to remember, Haskins was not their quarterback. That was the previous regime. It's possible that they do something crazy here, and then the entire draft gets flipped on its head. But I think I'd be utterly shocked if it is anybody not Chase Young. We've got Redskins got their pick in here, and let's see who they got after they finish chatting away with Zach Taylor here, who apparently has his assistant in his house. But interesting. They compared him to Ryan Tannehill. Interesting. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to hold up on getting too deep into something just because I know that the pick is in and I don't want to. I'd be curious. I am very curious, Clements. I wouldn't be heartbroken just because I know I said this earlier on the podcast or on the podcast. Sorry, I'm so used to that. I know I said this earlier. It's every quarterback after Burrow has a lot of questions for me. I hear you, Clement. Or is it Clemente? Sorry, I got really small font on my computer. Clemente. I hear you. But again, I totally respect and understand that question. Miami, and I'll ask you, what if Miami doesn't take Tua? What if they take a tackle? What if they take Isaiah Simmons? I mean, we don't know, which I think is so much fun. Nobody knows. The media keeps claiming to know these things, but every member of the media that has inside sauces is coming out with a different answer. And, like a lot of the narratives you'll see right now, they go around and around and around, and really they don't know either. It's I'm getting a message from Kat. And by the way, guys, sorry my connection's buffering on you guys a lot right now. If it is, it's let me know if think for you. Clemente, he could slide. Don't discount that fact. There are teams reportedly that take him to a completely off there because of the medical, because they weren't able to get access to the guy. He could completely slide. So Kat said to tell y'all, have fun and hang in there. He's turning off his phone after the Dolphins pick. So God, we're getting close. And Washington's pick has been in for about 5 minutes now. And they're so busy chatting away with a Burrow that, yeah. But so yeah. All right. Let's take a quick poll here. How many of you guys are in Tua camp, and how many of you guys are not in camp Tua? I want to hear. I want to hear from you guys. Where do you guys stand on the whole situation? I know Kat and I have had our differing opinions. Neither of us has debated his talent, but it's more so about his injury history more than anything. Oh, yep, there's Chase Young. What a shock. All right, Goldstein, you want Tua. I get it. I really do. He is, if you remove the injuries from the equation, you've got me sold. Definitely Tua over Herbert. I don't want Herbert. I put him on my 26 draft board out of obligation. I do not want Justin Herbert. All right, Jim. We got one not in camp Tua. Where do you fall, Jim? If that's the case, yeah, Goldstein, I'm with you. It's the only way I could see it is if they think they can develop him over the course of a few years, but not. I'm not sold. He seems to only really fit the part when it comes time for the underwear Olympics when he doesn't have people in his face, and that's going to happen in the NFL, especially if you skip over offensive tackle to go Herbert. So, all right, DJ, I can respect that. Let's go. Let's get past this Redskins pick. Let's get past Chase Young. Let's get to the real meat of this draft. I know I keep saying it, but I'm ready, and this just feels like lip service at this point because we've known. Yeah, Goldstein. I couldn't have said it better. Herbert is definitely making the same mistakes. If you listen to our mock draft show, our most recent one, I know we did a few of them this offseason. That's one of the reasons why I went offensive tackle and then I went Jordan Love because I do see the potential to develop there. Yep, it is Chase. I'm good with that. And don't get me wrong, I love Chase Young, but doesn't fill the need for us and just helps some of the talent we want slide back. They took so long that Detroit's only got about 4:15 left on the clock. So the way that they're doing this, I did see that game against Ole Miss. I did. It's yeah. I'm Jim. I'm in the same camp as you on this. I know I've said it a lot, and I hope I'm wrong, but given the fact that Tua has had so many injuries at a point in his life that his body is never going to be more resilient than it is right now, it worries me that Tua won't be able to stay healthy, especially if they pass on the tackle position to get him. It's, Miami's tackle situation is not good. Jesse Davis is pretty much the only real tackle on the roster. After that, I'd actually, if Miami were not to draft the tackle, I'd almost flirt with moving Flowers back to tackle, and that's a disaster. That is an utter disaster, but he's probably the best tackle on this roster. So, yeah, I agree, Clemente. And we're finally here, and the Lions have 3 minutes on the clock. Stop showing Chase Young footage. We've all seen it all off season. Let's get to the real draft. And they're teasing us with Lawrence on that footage as well with Chase Young, just to tease us a little bit for next year. Where are you guys watching the draft right now? What do you guys at home watching it? You on NFL Network? Talk to me. What do you guys got? I think that's probably one of the worst comparisons ever. They just compared Chase Young to Jadeveon Clowney. And I think they're two very different stylistic players, even though they're both pass rushers. It's thanks, Eric. I appreciate it, man. I wish we had more video, but Marcus, we're in Texas, man. All right, Eric. Well, I appreciate you spending it hanging out with us. Hopefully, we can make it fun for you. It's all right, Vegas. Nice. All right, Jason. We're in the UK. I've spent a little time over there, and my boss in my day life is from there. So I'm curious. I'm with you, Jim. I do want to trade down a little bit. Oh, Paul, you're breaking my heart here. You're Alice, please. And Sarah's upstairs. She's gonna laugh at me for saying this. Please tell me for draft food one of the days, even if it's not tonight, you're gonna get Zena delivered. If you haven't had Zena, it's probably my favorite place to go in the United States. They're not paying me to say it on here, but get some Zena. You won't regret it. Oh, thanks, Eric. Man, we have fun with it. All right, Marcus. I haven't been to Katy, but I've spent a lot of time out in Texas. Oh, okay, Leicester, right? Am I saying that right, Jason? I'm curious. It's Lions are not trading out. Their pick is in. We do not know who it is as of yet, but hopefully it's not Tua, or hopefully it is Tua, depending on which camp you are in. So I'm trying not to get too far into it as these picks come in, hoping to be able to just convey the information as it comes across. All right. They're announcing the pick as we speak. See who we got. I'm assuming, yep, Jeff Okudah, as we kind of all suspected. I actually spent a lot of time in DFW. God, it seems like a lifetime ago. It's probably only a few years, but yeah, there's some cool areas. I made some recommendations to a guy recently who was staying out that way, and I will tell you, get you some Zena delivered out there. Trust me. I'll shut up about it because nobody tuned in to listen to me talk about Thai food. But you get Zena, you'll be a happy man. I promise. They deliver till 3 a.m. so you can still get it tonight. All right, let's see if I can get you guys faster answers here. All right. So, where do you guys think the Giants go with this pick? Oh, thanks, Jim. We try to be, man. We try to be honest above all else. It's not try to be beholden to anybody. Yeah, I'm up in Connecticut, Eric. I live. If you ever see the movie Mystic Pizza, I live right near where that was filmed. It's a little area right on the coast. Love it. Try to get down to Miami as much as possible to see games. It was kind of fun. Those of you that know Angel Ortiz, he posted a few pictures tonight from being down in Virginia watching a game with the guys, being down in Miami on the field for one of the games down there. I think it'd be cool if they went Simmons. Oh, okay. Nice. Whereabouts in Maine? Third pick was Jeff Okudah, Marcus. Jeff Okudah. They're showing some footage of him now. Cornerback. Probably one of the best cornerbacks we've seen come out at the top end of the draft in a while. So he's going to do very well. Matt Patricia is very reliant on good play from his secondary. So, oh, dude, I love Bar Harbor. Love Bar Harbor. Don't tell me you're going to tell me you're nowhere close. I don't think the Giants do. I think there's a lot of, at the end of the day, misinformation out there about it, especially. Okay, Eric, I used to camp up there, believe it or not. Yeah, it's a beautiful area. I also learned that when I was 30 years old, that's the area I learned I get seasick in. So that was fun going on the whale watch out there. But no, other than that, Bar Harbor is gorgeous. Yeah, no, I I didn't realize how big Maine was till the first time I went to Bar Harbor. Believe it or not. I hit the border of Maine. I'm like, yeah, we're almost there. Woo! No, mm-mm. We had hours and hours to go to get to Bar Harbor, and I actually took a cruise and stopped by there as well. So, and I did learn that if you're up there on the 4th of July, they probably have some of the best private fireworks displays in the Northeast off a few of the parties up that way. So, yeah, it's and the only fjord on the East Coast. Getting some geography facts out there for you guys. Anyway, Giants are almost up. They got about 4 minutes left. We've got a commercial here. So, um, dude, there aren't many places in New England that they do. And I will tell you, up in Maine, they absolutely do. So, all right, guys, we are almost on the clock here. Got about 4 minutes till Miami's on the clock. After Miami goes on the clock, we're going to take a real short break. I'm going to step out, get me another one of these waters, and then I'll be back shortly after that. But yeah, I would not be shocked, but then again, it's Dave Gettleman. Who knows? Gettleman seems a little bit. We're going to go with senile, but that was kind of blunt. But we're also the podcast to talk about giving the finger to kids the other day. So there's that. If you haven't caught it, you'll catch it. But 3 minutes left before Miami is on the clock. Last chance here. Oh, all right, guys. The Dolphins media is going to be letting me into that chat momentarily, and I will try to convey anything and everything I can from their stream back to you guys. So, yeah. Last chance. Only a couple minutes left till Miami's on the clock. Gut check. What do you think we do? I want to hear it. Do you think we go Tua? Do you think we go offensive tackle? Do you think we trade down? Or do you think we go even further off script? What do you think we do here? There's only a handful of us right now, so I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear from you guys what we do here. I think Miami ends up going. God, I try to put the answer out of my mouth, and it still flips. It flips back and forth. I think it's going to be gun to head. I think they go Tua. I'm hoping they go offensive tackle, but I think they do go Tua here. We've got about 1:45 left, just so you know, until we're on the clock here. But to 18, no, Clemente. I don't, unfortunately. Maybe if teams have concerns about Mekhi Becton's flagged test from the combine, but in actuality, I don't think there's much of any way. I think there's more of a likelihood of like a Javon Kinlaw sliding to 18 than there is one of the top 4 offensive tackles, and that's saying a lot because Kinlaw is a player I absolutely love, and it would be very, very hard for me to pass on Kinlaw at 18. And if Miami goes Tua at number 5, it'd be a hard sell for me to pass on an offensive tackle if they're there with Kinlaw on the board. All right, so I think we all are leaning towards it probably being Tua. Giants pick is in. We are on the clock here in Miami. I'm excited. I can't. Been waiting for this. We have been waiting for this. And thank you to all of our listeners here for all you've contributed to us over the last few months leading up to the draft, leading up to free agency. It's, we have loved and respected the opinions we've gotten from you guys. We haven't always agreed. Kat and I haven't always agreed. But the feedback has been awesome for us. And it's, anytime if there's anything that any of y'all want to see, please let us know. We're going to start doing some more of the video stuff, like we talked about the other night. But yeah, for me, I think it's going to be Tua. If it's not Tua, I will lean towards Andrew Thomas probably being the selection, or Tristan. No, you know what? I'll lean towards Tristan Wirfs. But if Miami doesn't go Tua, it's going to be one of the 4 offensive tackles. Anything else would absolutely shock me. All right, let's see. Does Dave Gettleman have? All right, what's the over/under on Dave Gettleman still having his bottle of Jergens on his desk for this camera shot? Somebody has to have told him to take it off his desk. Eric, I would be very into that plan. It's if Miami does draft Tua here, I'm hoping that they do make a move to come back up. But we will see. All right, the Giants pick is being announced. The Giants have gone with Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle out of Georgia. So Thomas is off the board. That means for Miami, if they don't go Tua, my guess would be it would probably be Tristan Wirfs. I'd be a little more okay than some of the others with Mekhi Becton here. I'd love to see a trade down, given the fact if they're going to go offensive tackle, I wouldn't mind seeing a trade down just because 3 of them are still on the board. So if you along with Isaiah Simmons, Derek Brown. So if you were to slide back to 9 or 10, you can probably still get one of those offensive tackles at the top. But you're probably missing it on your quarterback if you take an offensive tackle here, if Tua is your guy. So this is going to be the final 6 minutes where we finally find out what Miami is really, truly doing here. I'm a little surprised to see Thomas go before Wirfs. I know Thomas started out at the top of the draft, and Wirfs has surpassed him on a lot of boards leading up. But again, it's God. So Simmons is still an option for you guys. Does anybody in the chat right now go Simmons? If it were you, I'm curious here. I hear you, Clemente. I hear you loud and clear. We will see. I know I'm not in camp Tua, but I completely understand being in that camp. So we will see. And if Miami does go Tua, I will be 100% in on supporting him and hoping he can stay healthy. Oh, Bob. Hey, dude. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So for those that don't know, Bob has been our Bears correspondent as we've gone along here. Whenever the Dolphins play the Bears, he's given us some great insight on them. Bob, oh, Jesus Christ, Dave, please tell me Dave Gettleman is not putting on a mask to talk to somebody over the phone. Dave Gettleman is putting on a mask to talk to somebody over video conference. He's an idiot. There's no... Sorry, Bob. I totally meant to give you some focus there. Miami is on the clock, but it's just seeing Dave Gettleman put a mask on to do a video conference for social distancing. It's mind-boggling. It is baffling. It might just qualify as the stupidest thing I've seen in a while. And that's saying something, considering everything we've all seen go on in the world. But, God, for those of you that don't have cable that are watching, oh, Bob, we just talked about this. The room is leaning towards Tua. If it's not Tua, Offensive tackle, probably Tristan Wirfs, came in second. And third was, believe it or not, trading back a few spots, still getting one of the top offensive tackles and or Tua, and being able to accumulate either a little bit this year or next year as far as a high draft pick. Yep, Eric hit the nail on the head. A lot less wordy than I do. Cat's been saying Tua all along. He just when I talked about number one at one point, he was saying Tua as well. If Miami was able to get up there. He loves Tua, and I get it. Tua's got a skill set that's beyond belief. But for the first time, he's on TV not wearing Dolphins colors. Interesting. Although wait, Tua has something orange behind him. Oh, and Flores is now up on TV. We have 3 minutes left on the clock. It's God, I'm wondering what we do here. Flores looks intense at the moment. I'm happy we didn't trade up too. Mad Dog, how are you, man? Which offensive lineman would you lean towards? I'd be very curious to see this. I know Andrew Thomas is off the board. I agree, Eric. If he starts sliding, that's definitely going to help his game. I know it's something that I'd be down for worse. I'd be down for worse, and then try to. Mad Dog, would you rather get Tua, or would you rather get Wirfs and then make a trade back up? Miami has made the selection. Trade down is now off the board. I can't wait to see who they took here. Sure, I know I said I was going to take a quick break after Miami made the pick, but dude, Eric, I got a comparison for you in a second. Miami's going to be doing the media conference call probably shortly after the pick. After I can, and I'll stick around for that. Then I'm going to take a very short break and get back to you guys right after. But I want to make sure that we convey whatever we hear from Greer or whoever Miami picks here. So yeah, Eric, I was watching Mekhi Becton, and one of the things that I've started saying this week, and I can't remember if I've said it on our show. I've done a few guest spots on a few shows over the past week. I might have said it there. Miami has had some great offensive linemen in their history, and as great as some of their Hall of Fame offensive linemen have been, the single greatest season we've probably seen, individual season we've seen from an offensive lineman in Miami, was probably Jamie Nails in 2002. What he single-handedly did leading the way for Ricky Williams that season was astonishing. If he hadn't hurt his leg, and I asked this question to Ricky a few years ago, if Jamie Nails hadn't gotten hurt, Ricky basically said Jamie was the heart and soul of everything that Miami did in their running game that year. And if he hadn't gotten hurt, he thought he could have run for probably about 500-600 more yards that year and probably over 3,000 the next. But Miami's pick is in. Miami is up. The commissioner is announcing the pick with the 5th pick in the NFL draft. Miami, it's official. Tua is a Dolphin. He's got that orange stuff behind him. I think you guys heard me say that sitting on his couch. So if he can stay healthy, he is every bit worth this pick. We will see. I'm hopeful. I'm going to cheer for him. Dude, Eric, he looked like, yeah, we will get back to the Jamie Nails thing because it's one of my favorite topics. I actually have a Jamie Nails jersey upstairs, believe it or not. Actually connected with the guy recently. We're probably going to do an interview with him here on the show. And I mean, all right, so Tua is the guy. Let's get away from Jamie Nails. Sorry. Miami finally has their answer at quarterback, it seems. Knee-jerk reaction. I'd give this pick a B+ with the potential to go to an A+ if Tua can find a way to stay healthy. What grade would you guys give for this pick? I'm very curious to hear this. I agree, Bob. It's. I had a conversation with somebody the other day. If I were an NFL player, there's only a very small handful of coaches that I would really truly want to play for, and Flores would be on that list, and not because he's in Miami. I agree. If Tua can stay healthy, this is they knocked it out of the park. But now that they've got Tua and given the injury history, I think it kind of gives away the Dolphins' hand a little bit. They truly have to go offensive tackle and protect the man moving forward. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They need a pair of offensive tackles here. I'd be okay with moving up from 18 to try to grab one. And the offensive line still needs a lot of help. Karras and Flowers can't get it done all on their own. I debate you on that, but I can understand where you're coming from. It's Tua and Burrow are the only ones I saw that truly had the intangibles like we talked about. Now, Gold, why are you saying 23 for Ruiz? Miami doesn't pick 23. New England does. Miami's at 26. Clemente, you got your guy, man. You got your guy. If Flores' kids are already talking to him. So, I mean, in all honesty, I'm very, like I said, I'm happy with this pick. Am I as ecstatic as I would have been if he had remained healthy? No. The health is the biggest question mark for me. There's no question talent-wise. No question talent-wise. And it's exciting to see Miami finally invest the first-round pick in a quarterback. The other aspect as well is if for some reason he doesn't hold up, that means Miami probably picks early next year, and then they'll also have the Texans pick early, and you've got Fields and Lawrence available. Hopefully he stays healthy, though. Paul, I get where you're coming from. Oh, no worries. No worries, Eric. I thought you meant that, but I wasn't sure if you were talking something else in the trade. I get where you're coming from, Paul, but I'm not sold that one of the top four is going to be available at 13. I've got a gut feeling that the last of the bunch may be gone, given that there's three left by pick 11. So you're going to have to make either a trade with Cleveland, trade with the Jets, or maybe Jacksonville. Jacksonville wants to get the hell out of the top end of the draft. But with Kinlaw and Brown on the board, I'm not sure Jacksonville's going to want to make that move backwards. Not good to see Mort on TV again. I totally get you, Eric. And I think the reason I'm not in the same camp as you, I'm normally one that will sit and say the same thing you are, is before the season last year, I was talking about Burrow as a guy whose skill set I liked. I wasn't expecting him to have the season that he did, but again, it's a situation where I think that helps me overlook the fact that he did it for 1 year, because it's when I was looking at the ability for him, I thought you've been around that long, dude. Bob, it gets even more insane too with that 1 year if you look at the fact that it was almost all in the first half. All right, folks, the Chargers pick is going to be coming in here too. I'm very curious to see if the Chargers end up going Herbert or if they pull one of those offensive tackles we've been talking about off the board, or go off script and go Simmons. Simmons would be, God, Simmons would be a phenomenal pick for the Chargers, believe it or not. It's Geno Smith, Jesus. He really was, Bob. He really, really was. I don't know, Eric. I don't think. I mean, Fitz starts the year. It's we just talked. I mean, actually, Eric, I'm going to use your Burrow point here with Fitzpatrick, and I like Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick over his career has been a guy that typically has like a 4 or 5 game stretch in the season where he plays phenomenal, probably and plays like one of the top players in the league, and then he'll follow it up with a 4 or 5 game stretch where he's basically he has a 4 or 5 game stretch where he's Peyton Manning and a 4 or 5 game stretch where he's Ryan. And last year was the first year he seemed to put it all together for almost the whole season. Um, so who knows? It's if Fitzpatrick starts to be the guy he's been his entire career, an energetic leader who is feast or famine. I could see a scenario where Tua comes in early, especially if his hips in as good a shape as his agents and Nick Saban want you to believe. And I don't think anybody in the Dolphins franchise trusts Nick Saban at this point. All right, let's see where the Chargers have gone here. Yep, it's Herbert. 3 quarterbacks now off the board. I'd be good with that now, Clemente. But the problem is you're selling used, damaged goods at this point. You haven't given Rosen that opportunity to show that there's any reason to try to grab him. I think Rosen may end up being that backup to Tua as we move forward. And there's a hilarious caricature of Herbert on TV right now that makes him look like a cartoon character, and I'm pretty sure it's fairly accurate. Oh, Jim, from listening to the show, Kat and I are both big Ezra Cleveland fans. He'd be a great fit in Miami. Yeah, Mad Dog, I'm with you. It's the Chargers just went full Browns on us here in this draft. The Chargers truly went full Browns on us, and they took Justin Herbert. They got rooked by the allure of some guy that looked good in the underwear Olympics. It's the Senior Bowl was probably the best analogy for Herbert and the entirety of him that I can think of, where he had that great week of practice and then got in the game, and in a real game situation where people are going to hit you, he folded up like just nobody's business. He's going to make a couple wow throws, and he's going to make a whole bunch of garbage throws. He needs a lot better receiving talent around him to make him look good. Don't believe the hype package that they put on TV. Go back and watch each and every one of his throws. You'll see a lot of throws where his receivers bailed him out, and it's unfortunate. I agree, Clemente. And here's the thing with Rosen is I think the organization does believe he's got the talent in him, and he's a cheap contract for a few years, and he's a talented enough guy that no one in the fan base is going to be chanting for Rosen over Tua. If they do, it's at a point where Tua already completely washed out. But dude, Goldstein, he threw a ridiculous amount of screens. Kat actually pointed that out on an episode the other day. He compared the number of screens Justin Herbert threw at Oregon to the number of screen passes that Joe Burrow threw, and it wasn't even close. And Joe Burrow had better accuracy than Herbert, even though so many of Herbert's throws came within like 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. Oh, I don't know. So Bob, that's a twofold question here. I think Simmons comes off the board to Carolina here in a moment, but that's a twofold question. Is he dialed into Saban? I don't think so. Did he pick Saban's brain? I'm sure he did. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Saban called Flores. It's say what you want about Saban. I'm not a fan. I don't love the way he did Miami dirty here. But at the same time, he is loyal to his players to a fault, and he will go to bat for his guys. And I wouldn't be shocked if he called up Flores. Oh, agreed, Eric. Agreed. It's uh, and I wouldn't trust him either. But no, it's I don't think Flores had to reach out to him. I think Saban. Um, yeah, Drew Brees in Miami. God, the funny thing about that is I was thinking about this earlier today, and it's don't get me wrong, I love Joe Burrow. I made no secret of that before it was cool. But Joe Burrow grew up a Saints fan, uh, and mainly because Drew Brees was his favorite player. So I wonder how tonight would have played out if Nick Saban had actually managed to sign Drew Brees and not fail that physical form. It might have been different if the team went to bat because the Saints weren't going to bat to get Joe Burrow. They're too far down in the draft. But I wonder how it would have played out differently if Burrow had grown up a Dolphins fan. We'll see. But yeah, no, Saban looks good because one of his guys went at the top end of the draft. It's what he is and what he does. All right, so Jim, you're speaking my language, Jim. It's if either Epineza or Kinlaw are there, they're up on my board. You just double check my board real quick, and I'll tell you where they're at. So I've got Kinlaw is my 8th best player for the Dolphins, and Epineza is my 15th best. So I'd agree with you there. Oh, dude, Eric, it's like, and you can love Tua and Burrow. It's a lot of people think you've got to be either or, but you don't have to be. You really don't. It's you can love two different players. It's just like loving all 4 of these offensive tackles that are at the very top. It's pick your flavor, but at the end of the day, it's guys that will get the job done. Oh, they have the NFL's richest running back on TV. Hopefully, he's making